Purpose the gentleman from Oklahoma seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, by direction of the Committee of Rules, I call up House Resolution 448 and ask for its immediate consideration.
Clerk will report the title of the resolution.
House Calendar Number 61, House Resolution 448, resolved that upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in order to consider in the House the concurrent resolution, House Concurrent Resolution 79, directing the Clerk of the House of Representatives to make corrections in the enrollment of H.R. 719. All points of order against consideration of the concurrent resolution are waived. The concurrent resolution shall be considered as read. All points of order against provisions in the concurrent resolution are waived. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the concurrent resolution to adoption without intervening motion or demand for division of the question, except 20 minutes of debate equally divided and controlled by the majority leader and the minority leader or their respective designees. Section 2. Upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in order to take from the Speaker's table the bill, H.R. 719, to require the Transportation Security Administration to conform to existing federal law and regulations regarding criminal investigator positions and for other purposes, with the Senate amendment to the House amendment to the Senate amendment thereto, and to consider in the House without intervention of any point of order a motion offered by the Chair of the Committee on Appropriations or his designee that the House concur in the Senate amendment to the House amendment to the Senate amendment. The Senate amendment and the motion shall be considered as read. The motion shall be debatable for 1 hour, equally divided and controlled by the Chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Appropriations. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the motion to adoption without intervening motion.
Gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized for 1 hour.
Mr. Speaker, for the purpose of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to my good friend, the gentlelady from New York, Ms. Slaughter, pending which I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
During the consideration of this resolution, all time yielded is for the purpose of debate only. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, earlier today, the Rules Committee met and reported a rule for consideration for both House Concurrent Resolution 79, directing the Clerk of the House of Representatives to make corrections in the enrollment of H.R. 719 and H.R. 719, the Continuing Appropriations Act 2016. The rule provides for consideration of House Concurrent Resolution 79 under a closed rule with 20 minutes of debate equally divided and controlled by the majority leader and his designee and the minority leader or her designee. In addition, the rule makes in order a motion offered by the Chair of the Committee on Appropriations that the House concur in Senate amendment to H.R. 719 with 60 minutes equally divided and controlled by the Chair and the ranking member of the Committee on Appropriations. Mr. Speaker, first, this resolution allows for consideration of House Concurrent Resolution 79, which directs the Clerk of the House to include the text of the Defund Planned Parenthood Act of 2015 in the enrollment of H.R. 719. This would allow the House to again state its position in opposition to the funding of Planned Parenthood, as it has already done by passage of both H.R. 3495 and H.R. 3134. In addition, Mr. Speaker, the rule provides for consideration of short-term continuing resolution. As a member of the Appropriations Committee, I'm always disappointed when we are forced to consider continuing resolutions, especially given the work this House has done in the appropriations process this year. For the first time since 2009, the House Appropriations Committee was able to complete all 12 appropriations bills and complete them before the August recess. Unfortunately, just as in years past, Senate Democrats prevented consideration of any appropriations bills on the floor of that body. This leads us to the unfortunate situation of having to put forward a short-term CR to fund the government through December 11th. This continuing resolution is simple. Most programs will continue being funded at their FY15 levels. However, it does adjust certain spending levels for critical needs, such as providing $700 million for wildfire suppression activities in the West. And it extends several programs that would otherwise lapse, like the collection of recreation fees for public lands. In addition, it maintains the moratorium on state and local jurisdictions' taxation of the Internet. I hope that in the weeks and months ahead ahead that the House, the Senate, and the President can come to an agreement on a path forward which ensures we are not in this same place in December. Some of my colleagues have stated publicly that they cannot support this CR because it provides funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to assure my colleagues that no funding for Planned Parenthood is included in this legislation. First, the majority of Planned Parenthood funding, about 90%, comes through Medicaid and is not subject to appropriations. Of the remaining 10%, the largest portion, roughly $28 million, is funded through Title X. These grant programs are competed for every year and are awarded in April, long past the length of this continuing resolution. While I share the same disgust over the evidence seen in the atrocious videos that are so widely known, I want to assure my colleagues that no additional funds are provided for this organization in this bill. I'm encouraged by the hard work of Chairman Rogers, Ranking Member Loy, and of course the Speaker, whose leadership has made all this possible. One of the preeminent responsibilities we are tasked with as members of Congress is to ensure that the government continues to function. While a continuing resolution is not the ideal vehicle, the alternative of a government shutdown is not what we have all been sent to Washington to do. I urge support of the rule and the underlying legislation, and with that, Mr. Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.